guys. Are you ready to just jump into it? Are you ready? All right, because I want to warn you. I want a response to every one of these things. This is Karen Drucker's prosperity song, so it doesn't waste any time. So basically, I say prosperity, prosperity. I claim it, I claim it. So you have to be quick on your toes. Are you ready? Prosperity, I claim it. Abundance is mine. Love flows through me. I feel joy all the time. A bunch of white people clapping, right? Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. Next. I claim it. All right, here we go. I have it. I deserve it. I claim it. It's mine. I can have it. I deserve it. Oh, what is it? Oh, sorry. I am it. It's mine. Ooh, how about a choir? Here we go. There we go. Peace fills my heart. I have to do it right. Peace fills my heart. I surrender everything. Health is my birthright. Passion helps me sing. All right, one more time. I release and let go. I accept what is mine. I can have what I want. Right? I let spirit direct the flow. Life is good. Let me hear that better. Come on. Life is good. Life is fun. Life is great. This song is done. Thank you.
Welcome, Unity. Good morning, everybody. So I have a couple of surprise announcements. The first is I'm not Medora, and she's actually celebrating her 35th anniversary with Richard, and they're gone this week. So yeah, sending out good thoughts to them. And the other, of course, is it's not 12:15, so I'm glad you guys made it at the 11:15 service. So let's center ourselves as we open our service today. And as we hear the chime, it's a metaphor. It's that still small voice within. We hear it first thing in the morning. It's the last thing with us at night. It's the voice of our peace, the voice of our love, the voice of our true selves. And we gather today to hear this throughout the entire service as we connect, grow, and serve, and open our hearts.
Open to the presence now, love is in this place. Open to the light within, feel God's peace and grace. Open to the presence now, love is in this place. Open to the light within, feel God's peace and grace.
Good morning, everybody. It's lovely to see you. And as we have our Sunday service, I'd like to remind us that we've been here for 54 years, and we're still kicking, going strong. And there's a wonderful little story I heard that the old Unity was at the Masonic Lodge, and there was a sign when you came in on Sunday, and it said, "Enter prayerfully, leave joyfully." And I really think that's the theme here today and every Sunday. And you're going to feel that in your hearts. There are parts where, like with the bell, or the meditation, or in a personal moment, where you go within and feel contemplative. And then with Gary's music, or with some of the enthusiasm and adventure that we have here, you feel the celebration. And I think that's who we are. We're really trying to both be thoughtful and soulful, and also to see how great a kick life is. So this service is special, and I'm just really glad that we're all here today. And we come here each week and read our mission statement, so let's start and read that together. That we are a spiritual community to authenticity, an expression of joy, each other, living an awakened and enlightened life. Thank you. And our first core commitment is the commitment to connect. And I invite you all to take your hands and hold the hand of the person next to you. And get your feet on the ground, if you will, and just take a deep breath. Sunday is the day of rest. And as you hold the hand of the person next to you, the warmth, the connection, I invite you to open your hearts to trust. And holding the hand of the person next to you, I invite you to open your mind to truths. And to feel that we're a spiritual family as we head into this Thanksgiving season, that we're all connected, that we are family, and that we are joy. And let's say our connect commitment together. We connect with spirit, inspiring each other, community, and the world. Great. And we have a few opportunities and announcements. And Sandra, if you'll please come up and tell us a little bit what's going on with the logistics for our search team. So as you all know, we've been working long and hard, and Sandra's heading up a lot of the logistics.
Thank you. So as you've seen since May, the sacred search for another senior minister has passed through the hard work and long hours of prayer and research by the vision and search teams. And 4 qualified candidates were selected in October. So the commissions and logistics team is now overseeing the candidates' visits to Unity, where each one of them gives us the message and a workshop, and where they share themselves with you after the service between 12:45 and 1:30, so you get to know them a little bit. And each one that comes will also be interviewed by the Board of Trustees. Last week, the first of the 4 delivered the message and the workshop. And you'll get to meet the next 3 over the next month or so. So one on November 18th, one on December 2nd, and the last one on December 9th. To make it easy for members of our community to share their perceptions of each minister with the board, you had the opportunity to complete an evaluation form last week. And we're going to use that same form in the coming weeks for both the message and the workshops. And the Board of Trustees then plans to review these forms, your completed assessments, to help them in making a decision. The members of the search team have already done that. I'm thinking the Sacred Search team of communication logistics. We're pleased to serve you, and we are Sue Summers and myself as co-captains, Sam Engel as our board liaison, Kathy Borenstein, Alicia Levin, and Lenora Hart. Thank you very much for your support as we move forward.
Yeah, and thank you, Sandra. As you all have probably heard, the team collectively has put 600 hours into this process. And for all of you for giving us your input and for the amazing volunteer work they've done, we're really grateful and very, very excited about what's up next. We have a Wednesday night service, and Lisa Starbird, who's sitting here and, as always, doing her excellent job of helping coordinate this, is going to be speaking at that service. And it's really our chance to connect, grow, and serve in the middle of the week. And so she'll be talking about the law of attraction, a very nice continuation of what May is going to be talking about here today. And please come. It's a wonderful chance to recharge yourself in the middle of the week. And for Thanksgiving, we will have a service on Thursday, and Carolyn Gauthier, who does a lot of the music here, will have some traditional songs and give a short talk calling Keeping an Attitude of Gratitude. And really a good chance to warm up, and then we'll do a Thanksgiving dinner, and that'll be at 2 p.m. So even if you have other plans, it's a chance to come out here. And on that week, because of the Thursday services, there will be no Wednesday service. And if you have some free time, love to have you come out and help us set everything up. And so as our prayer chaplain brings forward the box, Bonnie, we are reminded of our foundation. We're here on the foundation of prayer, and we put our prayer requests in that box and pray over them here for 30 days and send them to Unity Village. And I'm particularly moved to the message of gratitude, especially of the people who've come before us and given us what we have here. So for Arlene Halligan, Nadine Chandels, Betty Martin, Norland Merritt, Candida Wright, and so many others, you're all with us in spirit, and this place is possible because of you. And Bonnie, for your service, thank you so much. Today's daily word is grace. And each week we read the daily word, and it's read worldwide by about 500,000 people. With joy and gratitude, I embrace all of God's good. The Gospel of Luke tells the story of a father who willingly divides his property between two sons. After wasting his inheritance and then experiencing extreme poverty, the younger son returns to his father's home humbled. When the young man declares his unworthiness to be called son, his father responds by giving him gifts and celebrating his homecoming. Surely this young man experienced grace. Like the prodigal son, you may feel unworthy. Feelings of unforgiveness, such as the brother felt, may also block the flow of good in your life. So as you recognize and release these thoughts of unworthiness, these feelings of being less than, open your entire being to God's grace. And with joy and gratitude, we embrace all of God's good. And then from Luke we have, then the father said to him, "Son, you're always with me, and all that is mine is yours." And so as we go into the silence, we hear the bell. And I think of the word enough. You are enough. You have enough. Life is so beautiful and so full. We give thanks as we go into the silence.
morning, everyone. There's a beautiful line from Leonard Cohen. It goes, ring the bells that still can ring. There is no perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. This song is about the doorway, the wound, the pain, the unexpected turn as a doorway to the love itself. You'll never know where the... Sorry, I'm going to start again. Pardon me. There's so much in life we can't control. When a storm clouds your way, when the pain invades your very soul, and you're afraid to live another day, rise past the pain of yesterday. There's no going back, try another way. Find the strength in your heart to walk through the dark. There's a light that lives in each of us from the start. Life is never perfect. Life is never perfect. Finding the strength to go on, you'll feel love pouring through. Love keeps pouring through. You'll never know where the wind will blow and turn your life upside down. You know what I'm talking about. Well, let me know, let us know how we can help you grow. Reach out your hand and feel the ground. We all rise when we know we're not alone. We all need to feel like we're coming home. There's a strength in our hearts to walk in the dark. There's a light that lives in each of us from the start. Life is never perfect. Life is never perfect. Finding the strength to go on, life keeps pouring through. We know how much a heart, this is a brand new song. We know how much a heart can ache, but believe this love will never break. We are here to help you stay strong. We'll have the faith to know you belong. Finding the strength to go on, you'll feel love pouring through. Love keeps pouring through. Life is always, I think we'll all want to sing, love is always perfect. Love is always perfect. You want to join me? Love is always perfect. Love is always, well, the love keeps pouring through. Love is always perfect, but the love keeps pouring through. Love is always perfect. Love is always perfect. Love is always perfect. Love is always perfect, but the love keeps pouring through. Love is always perfect, but the love keeps pouring through. Love is always perfect, but the love keeps pouring through. Love is always perfect. Love is always perfect, but the love keeps pouring through. Love is always perfect, but the love keeps pouring through. and the love keeps pouring through.
Thank you, Gary. It's beautiful. And thank you for that Leonard Cohen quote, and I think that's Gary's mom there that he's saying hi to. So Gary will also be playing November 28th, so I've been following him for 15 years. Just incredible music, and great to have you here today. And we'd like to welcome anyone who's new here today. We're really an open-armed community, and I just think of this as a good place to grow personally, spiritually, and to find some real friends. So we have our welcome team, and they have a packet. And if you are so inclined, you can fill out the packet, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'd love to get to know you better. So if you're new, please raise your hand, and one of these welcome team members will come by and give you some info. And there's always a ton of info in the courtyard, and we have some fellowship and food and fun out there. So please get to know us better. We'd love to get to know you better. And if you're online, we'd like to welcome you as well. It's always a joy to see people from Sweden or other parts of the world, and we do love to take our message and extend it out to the wider world. Our next core commitment is to grow. So let's say that together. We grow in consciousness, education, healing, and prayer. And that core commitment could really, really be applied to us right now as a community. Unity Marin here today. And as you know, we're looking for a new minister, and we have so many things going on. And I just, before Al, our board treasurer, comes up and talks a little bit about faith in action, I wanted to just mention a couple small points. And the main thing here is we are sitting on so much opportunity. It's a time of change, it's a time of uncertainty, but a couple things stand out for me. One is our Montessori school. We are so close. We have about 14 students or 15 students. I know Sarah's sitting here and can give me that exact number, but we have the capacity to grow into the mid-50s in students. And out in Hawaii, they have a 95-person Montessori school that generates $1.2 million. So to me, this is an incredible opportunity. It was so much work to get to this point. Another is the online community. We just welcome the online viewers. In some churches, they have 15,000 online viewers and generate a third of their revenues from that membership with online classes and events. And here we are, we're 54 years old as a community, and there's so much heart, so much energy and love that's gone into it. And this is the critical time. This is the time to really say faith in action this year is not the same old like NPR pledge. Okay, we really, really are calling on you because we're about to hire a new minister, about to act on these other two opportunities, and we're just reaching out, open heart, open arms. So Al, maybe you can come up and tell us a little bit more about our theme of conscious giving this year.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Al Gaspari. I'm the board treasurer, prosperity chair. So this year, our faith in action theme is conscious giving, and it's really about the conscious giving from both a personal and a community basis. So we talk a lot about all of the hard work that's going on. The Montessori getting stood up is a hard work. The search is hard work. Running the organization is hard work. Changing the world is hard work, and doing all these things. This is the easy part. This is the the part around where we support, where we make sure that we have the flow and the resources to make what we need to happen. So conscious giving is really enabling all of us to create the organization that we want to see, that we know that Unity Marin can become, and that we know that we can be. So what I want to talk today about is the kickoff of the campaign. So in your handouts, there is the new flyer. It has a great picture of me and my oldest son, Fonzie, on here. But a little information. So we have two asks specifically for this year. So the first is that, with that, we want to invite the good in, and we don't want faith in action to be a huge effort where we're constantly bombarding you with information. So for as much as possible, please, pledge early. So, we have the cards today. There's pens in the back. There'll be pens in the offertory baskets. There's a bin outside. If you're not sure what you want to give now, just write your name and say, call me or contact me with your information. If you want to continue where you're at with your current giving, just write in your name and then say, please continue with what you're doing. The office will take care of that. So that's one. We just want to make it easy. And, from the board's perspective, we need your help. We need your help to make sure that this all goes forward and that we have the expression. We want to make sure to our candidates looking at this church that know there's a committed community behind it. Please, help us do that. The second thing is that, we have a lot of expenses coming up over the next year. We have the onboarding of the new minister. We have a lot of things that are going to require resources from the organization. So as much as you can advance your giving to take advantage of 2018 tax benefits and, to give you the money ahead of time. If you're pledging for the first time, you can indicate, please start now in 2018. You don't have to wait till 2019. And that would really help the organization and get over this hurdle. So please take a look at this. I encourage you to share both, whether it's online or with people that you're in your community, people outside of the Unity community, why this is important to you, what you want to see from a conscious perspective. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Al. And I just wanted to cap off what he said on the Faith in Action forums here. I'm doubling down this year. So 3 things I'm going to do is double my commitment from last year, and I'm going to try to front load it because we need to write an offer letter to a person and probably pay for moving costs in the next couple months. And I'm going to probably use, instead of a credit card, use a bank card because there's a commission that you save the church, which someone calculated would actually pay for the lights for the whole year if we all did that. So really, I encourage you to think of this as a different year. It only comes up every 10 years or so. We've been around and had 3 ministers. This is a special time and a different ask. So if you can, please open up your heart, open up your generosity, your trust, and let us thrive. Thank you. So we all know that May McCarthy is here today. It's just a great, great opportunity to have her speak, and I just wanted to say that she is going to be right after this second service in the sanctuary here from 1 to 3:30 doing a workshop. And to mention, I'll bring this up again at the end of the service, she has a couple of books, The Path to Wealth and also The Gratitude Formula, and she's so generously allowing the proceeds of that to go to the church. So it's really a fundraiser, and her whole presence and energy here is to help us. She's out trying to lift the world, and we're a place that wants to lift the world as well. So it's a partnership, and please come see her, and we'll learn more at 1 o'clock. So thank you, May. A couple of other opportunities. We have Peter Russell, and he is a ions person, and we've had lots of science people here. And the beauty is, in this technological world, we take the science, we take the meditation and inwardness, and we try to see how to integrate them. Life has so many compartments. So come join us, and he'll talk about non-duality this Friday at 7 p.m. And then the next, a couple of Fridays later, November 16th, Amy Call will be here, and she, 15 years ago, had a near-death experience and would like to come and share her experiences and her insights with us. So now let's sing our statement of truth.
There is only one power, only one presence, active in all my life and in the universe. God the good, in all, and over. There is only one power, only one presence.
pleasure of experiencing May this morning, and you're in for a real treat. And, I wanted to share another song. The song you heard before, Life is Never Perfect, is the first time I've ever performed it, was this morning's service. And it's that song and this song are part of a musical that I've been working on for 6 years, on helping the world understand the ramifications of making pregnancy, birth, and bonding a less medicalized experience and more about empowering women to really reclaim the ancient tradition of actually giving birth without having it be a procedure all the time. And so this closing song of the musical, it's the encore, is called Life's a Miracle. But I was thinking about it. How many of you have heard of my work, Graceful Passages, about recontextualizing death and dying? Yeah. There's some available at the store afterwards, but I mean at the table. But in the cycle of life, accepting the mortality and finding the amazing preciousness of life through the grace of understanding death, you come to the full circle of appreciating life's miracle as its inception, at its beginning. And so this song is really about really embracing the miracle. And when we can feel that there's a miracle in life, then we can fully embrace the law of increase that May's talking about. So it's although it's obliquely related to her talk, it's really when we can be alive with that gratitude, everything changes. And this community that Greg talked about, I know I'm not supposed to talk so much, so I'll shut up pretty soon. But I really want to say that this is such a nascent, amazing moment for this community to really create unbelievable outreach online and otherwise. So this is a very rich moment. So life's a miracle for this community as well. So here we go. This is the closing song of a musical that in 7 days, I'm recording 7 Equity New York actors to perform we're going to record 18 songs for the musical. And if you feel the inspiration, you can clap along and join along with me if you can. When you were just a spark in your mama's eyes, your heart was dreaming dreams that filled the sky. You took it day by day. You knew you'd find the way. And now you're here to show us who you are. Will you find out what makes your heart sing out, so you know that you belong? You can count on us to believe in you. We all want to hear your song. Life is magic, life is light. Love's the fire, we'll burn bright. When I look into your eyes, I see love that lasts forever. Life's a miracle, we're a miracle. You're all miracles, can't you just feel it? Love's a miracle, life's a miracle. We're all miracles, celebrate the magic. Shout out your joy. Keep it day with new eyes. Shout out your joy. We're making their dreams come true. There's never been a time like now to let your love will show the way. Celebrate the magic. Life's a miracle. Life is. Life's a miracle. Let me hear you. Life's a miracle. Life is. Life's a miracle. Life is. Life's a share love. It's all about love. All you need is love. Share love, share love. It's all about love. Love makes the world go round. Share love. Love is holy ground. Share love. Love will find a way. Share love. Love is here to stay. Love is here to stay. Life's a miracle. We're a miracle. We're a miracle. Can't you just feel it? Love's a miracle. We're a miracle. You're a miracle. Celebrate the magic. And you join me? You learn it? Love's a miracle. We're all miracles. We're all miracles. Can't you just feel it? Life's a miracle. We're all miracles. You're all miracles. Can't you just feel it? Love's a miracle. We're all miracles. You're all miracles. Celebrate the magic. Ooh, ooh. Celebrate the moment. Ooh, ooh. Celebrate the music. Celebrate the living. Celebrate the music. Now we're all miracles. Share their love. We're all miracles. Share your love. We're all that. You can join me. Can you join me? It's share your love. It goes like this. Share your love. We're all miracles. Is that? Can you join me on that one? Share your love. We're all miracles. Come on, stand up and sing this with me. Share your love. We're all miracles. Da-da-ba. Can you add harmony? Share your love. We're all miracles. Aren't we miracles? Share your love. We're all miracles. Share your love. We're all miracles. Aren't we? Yes.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, life is a miracle. That is it's a great message for Thanksgiving, going into that season and seeing how blessed we really are. Thank you, Gary. And it gives me great joy to introduce our speaker today, May McCarthy. And I know a little bit, and she gave me some more information about her. So May is from Hawaii, and she's from a big family. 10 total kids, and she was the youngest. So her foray into business and entrepreneurialism was probably just survival as a sibling. So her 10 older siblings once kind of, as she wrote herself, ate her profits as she was trying to formulate a little bit of logistics to stay alive. She's been a member of the Center for Spiritual Living and a grateful student of Holmes, Fillmore, and Emma Curtis Hopkins, and lots of the same teachers that we have here. But in her earlier life, she really became a serial entrepreneur, and over the last 36 years has used these metaphysical spiritual practices to grow 7 successful businesses in a variety of industries, and the largest has been a $100 million business in annual gross sales. Her time now is allowing her to travel the world, and as she says, to travel the world on purpose and elevate prosperity and freedom for all. And she shares her spiritual success principles through the 2 books I mentioned, and we'll have a little more on that later. And she's here today to help us with her talk, Jumpstart Our Good. And as we know, it's the beginning of our Faith in Action season, so perfect timing to learn about how to activate our law of increase in our lives and to achieve greater levels of happiness, abundance, and of freedom. So let's all welcome May McCarthy.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see all of you. Let me move my books. Yes, books. Can't believe I became an author. I took English as a second language in college because I'm from Hawaii. We had our own language there, yes, which is true. So before we get started, first of all, Gary, beautiful music. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just lovely. And it related just perfectly. So before we get started, how many of you have ever felt like you could use some more time to get things done? Yeah? Anybody? Okay. And has anybody ever felt like you'd just like to have a little more appreciation from the people you work with, your community, maybe your family, your children? Yeah? Okay. And has anybody ever felt that they would like to have more money and the freedom to do whatever they want whenever they want? Excellent. I'm in the right place. I am so happy to be here. Well, 36 years ago, my mother, who was a devout Catholic, who had converted from Seventh-day Adventist, gave me my first metaphysical book. Somehow she thought her 10th child was a little different. And she gave me this book called The Game of Life and How to Play It, written in 1925, which I believe is in your bookstore, by a woman named Florence Scovel Shinn. I believe she was also a student, like Holmes and the Fillmores, of Emma Curtis Hopkins. So I refer to her book as Emma for Dummies. It's very, very easy to understand. And I took that book with me off to the mainland to go to college. I thought I had a secret formula. All I had to do was apply all of these things that are written in this book, and I was able to graduate from college in 3 years with honors while growing a business with 250 employees. It was a miracle-making formula. And as I matured in my spiritual understanding, I realized these are just simple spiritual tools that are taught right here and in other New Thought centers around the world. We have a wonderful, wonderful gift. And if you were here the last time that I spoke, about a year ago, I told you about my daily practice. You know, I've taken all these different practices that I've learned, and because I'm a self-proclaimed efficiency expert who hates to waste time, I boiled it all down to a really efficient daily practice. And what I did was I took on that characteristic of spirit, that characteristic of God that's the ultimate advisor, and I made it my business partner. And as a CEO of companies, I surround myself with people whose advice I value. I have a chief financial officer, a chief operations officer, a chief information officer. All of these are subject matter experts who advise me to grow our company. And I thought, you know, God knows more than anyone about everything. So I brought God into my business and I gave it a title. And I called it the Chief Spiritual Officer, or CSO for short. And I'm confident that my practice, my partnership with this ultimate advisor characteristic of spirit that I call the CSO has been responsible, truly, for helping me to grow 7 successful businesses, most of them multi-million-dollar technology companies. I know that that's true. And all of you can do this too. But I also learned that in addition to achieving my goals through this daily practice of taking on spirit as my partner, that I could also accelerate and activate a law of increase. But the partnership is very simple. I describe what I want with gratitude as though it's already complete. God's job is to create the path for me to get there and give me one step to take at a time along that path. If I'm unsure, if I'm concerned, if I'm a little fearful, it's okay. I just have to ask for another lead. And I get one. Ultimately, you get enough confidence and enough signs and enough messages, gut instincts, strong thoughts, all sorts of things, to feel confident to take a step. And eventually you reach your goals and you celebrate. Sounds easy, right? Yeah. So whatever it is that you want, if you describe it as though it's already complete with gratitude, then Spirit will show you the way. Now, what do I mean by that? How many of you have ever heard somebody say, I want to be debt-free, or I want to lose 10 pounds? Anybody? Okay. Well, think about that goal for a minute. If the goal is to be wanting to be debt-free or wanting to lose 10 pounds, haven't they already achieved their goal? Aren't they already wanting? So you describe it as though it's complete with gratitude. I'm so grateful that I am physically fit, trim, toned, energetic, in a healthy, pain-free body that's easily able to move through life. And I'm eternally youthful and increasingly more beautiful. That's my goal. But whatever your goal is, describe it as though it's already done with gratitude. Now, if you want things in your life, those good things that you're describing, to arrive sooner, guess what? You can jumpstart your good by activating the law of increase through giving. You know, Deepak Chopra said that we have, in our willingness to give that which we seek, we keep the abundance of the universe circulating in our lives. So if you want more appreciation, give it. Think of somebody every day that you can tell you appreciate. If you want more love, Give love. You want more money? Give to where you're spiritually fed. You want a healthier body? Do something healthy and invite somebody along. If you want more time, find one person that's as busy as you are. Offer to run an errand for them. Maybe take their dog for a walk. You will be amazed at how often, when you do something like that, how often you've got 10 minutes to get somewhere that you know is 20 minutes away, and you arrive on time. You can activate the law of increase by giving first. Now, another person who I love his quote, he's a modern day physician and author named Debashish Marinda. He says that life is a balance between giving and receiving. And the more you give, the more abundance will fill your life. I know that's true. I've experienced, I've proved it. How many of you have proved that when you give, you receive? Right, right. And you can do that for more than just money. You can do that for time. You can do that for health. You can do that for love and appreciation. And what I want to do is share 3 points with you today that illustrate this law of increase and activating it in your life. So in your bulletin, you have a handout that looks like this. So if you could pull that out. We'll go over those 3 points. As a self-proclaimed efficiency expert that hates to waste time, I decided to give you some notes to take with you. Does everybody have one? Okay, so the first point is that you need to recognize that there is a law of increase in giving and receiving. You will receive what you give out first, all right? You will receive what you give out first. So whatever it is that you want more of in your life, start giving it. To illustrate this, I have a woman who I know. She's an accounting manager. And she came to me after taking one of my workshops, and she said, May, my goal is to have a new job. I said, really? Thought you had a pretty good job. You're an accounting manager. And she said, no, I want a new job. And I asked her why. She said because she wanted to feel more appreciated. And she wanted to make more money. I said, so you don't really want a new job. What you want is to be more appreciated and to make more money. And she said, yeah. I said, okay, well, why don't we activate the law of increase? Would you be willing to do an experiment for me? She said, sure. So I asked her to find one person a day. She could text them, she could email them, she could give them a phone call, or she could talk to them in person. And I asked her to tell one person every single day how much she appreciated them. She said, sure, I'll give that a try. So she'd find someone and tell them how much she appreciated them, and this went on. And about a week later, she thought, you know what? This is the highlight of my day. It makes me feel so good. And shortly after that, she came out of her office, and she's an accounting manager, so she has a sea of modular offices that her staff works in right outside her office. And she comes out of her office, and coming down the hallway, she noticed the executive vice president of the company. He stops right in front of her, drops to his knees, and starts flailing his arms in homage, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You and your team ended up finding a problem that saved us thousands of dollars. I appreciate you all so much. And he arranged to give them all bonuses. All of her employees popped up over their cubes and were watching this happen and were just amazed. My friend felt so appreciated, and I'm happy to report that she did not quit her job, and she is thriving and flourishing where she is. So recognize that there's a law of increase and accumulate some stories of other people proving the law, because what that will do is make it familiar and welcome in your life. The second point is that you need to meet daily with your CSO, with your spiritual partner, with God, every single day, and outline your goals. Outline your goals for giving and receiving. Make sure that you're describing what your life is like after you achieve those goals. A friend of mine, another friend of mine, owns a health and beauty company. So she manufactures health and beauty products, and they're sold in Whole Foods and different co-op markets and specialty beauty stores all over the world. And her goal was to increase the growth of her business and to be able to thrive and prosper. And so she decided to activate the law of increase by giving first. What she did was she made it a goal that she would give out support and help to her customers so that they could thrive and prosper, that they could grow their businesses. And in return, she knew that that would help her to grow hers. One day she's over at one of the stores and she's merchandising. She's got a new employee that she's training, and she's merchandising the shelves and straightening up all of her products. And then she starts straightening up her competitors' products. And her employee asked her, why are you doing this? Why are you straightening up the competitors' products? And she said, well, I'm activating the law of increase. I am giving to my customer the ability to succeed. I'm helping them to have a nicer looking section that people will want to buy from. And as they increase in sales, I know that I'll be receiving increase in return. Unbeknownst to her, the buyer for that section was walking by and overheard what she said. A few days later, she gets a call from this same buyer and said, you know what? We're going to start selling your products in 4 more of our stores. This was the largest single order that she had ever received. She met daily to describe her goals with gratitude as completed with her spiritual partner. And she activated the law of increase by giving first. You can do this too. And the third and final point is that you need to commit now to giving consistently from a cheerful place. If you want to receive on a regular basis, if you want to receive more of what you desire on a regular basis, you have to give on a regular basis. You know, Ernest Holmes from Centers for Spiritual Living, Science of Mind, said that life is like a mirror and will reflect back to us what we put into it. So if you want to receive consistently, you've got to give consistently in whatever area you want to receive in. Another friend of mine, he was really concerned. You know, he lives paycheck to paycheck and barely has enough money to make all ends meet. He doesn't have very much entertainment or anything. I mean, everything goes towards living expenses. And he said, May, I'd really like to give more. I'd like to give and support my church. I'd like to have enough financial freedom to be able to do whatever I want. He says, but I don't see how that's possible. I just don't. I live paycheck to paycheck. And I said, well, would you be willing to make giving a goal? Would you be willing to describe in writing how wonderful your financially free life is, with lots of money coming in, and how good you're going to feel to support your church? He said, yeah, I could do that. I could have a meeting every day with Spirit and describe that as though it's already done and take action. And I said, Anne, would you be willing to activate the law of increase? By giving today, giving some sort of commitment today, a covenant with Spirit that you trust that with all things are possible with God. And he said, okay, so he managed to pull out $5, and he decided to give it to his church that day. Well, I also asked him if he'd be willing to give from a cheerful place, because to give 10% of his gross income was not going to happen. He was too scared. He had not proved the law yet. So I asked him if he'd be willing to give on unexpected income to start until he could gain confidence, until he could prove the law. He had never given before, and he said, okay. So every day he's writing down how wonderful his life is, receiving financial increase and giving to his church. And he was able to document that first week, $50 of unexpected income. He gave $5 that week. The next week, he was out walking his dog. How many of you have dogs? Okay, so if you're like him, he has this route that he always goes on when he walks his dog. Well, this day, the dog pulled him off on a different route, and he followed. And in the middle of a path was a roll of money with a rubber band around it. $325. So he looked for people that might have lost it. He went back to the parking lot, to the trailhead. He went everywhere looking to see if anybody was looking for this lost money. He couldn't find anyone. So he said, thanks, God. And he gave $32.50 the next week. And he proved this over about 6 months, and he built up this confidence. He built up the confidence that, wow, as I give, I can receive even more. He was proving the law. So he decided to go out on a limb and give on his net income plus unexpected income. A short time later, he got a 20% raise. You can't outgive God. You cannot outgive God. So if you want anything, money, appreciation, harmonious relationships, health, love, start giving it first and give from a cheerful place. You know, in 2 Corinthians, we're reminded that God loves a cheerful giver. Why do you think that is? Because if you're not cheerful, what are you? Burdened, focusing on lack, fearful. And what do we know about spiritual principles? Whatever we put our attention on, we're going to attract into our life, right? So you've got to be giving from a spiritual place. I mean, a cheerful spiritual place. And cheer is something that you can feel in your gut. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath. And ask yourself this question. Where can I feel cheerful in my giving? Would that be on unexpected income? Would that be on after-tax income? Would that be on gross income? Or maybe a combination of any of those three? Okay, does everybody have that in mind? Yeah, so hold on to that thought. That's where you feel cheerful and at peace. And that's the place you want to give from. Now, here's what I want you to know, is this law always works. So remember, you can't outgive God. So as you continue to gain confidence and prove this law, give at a higher level. What will happen is you'll receive even more. As you receive more, you'll be in a position to do more good works. You'll be in a position to support more organizations in a greater way. And won't that make for a better world, right? But I also want to give you a special note in that I realize that sometimes situations in life change, sometimes very unexpectedly, and sometimes detrimentally. If you're trying to give at that new higher level and your finances have changed dramatically, what might you feel? Burdened, fearful, right? And I've seen so many people be in that position and they get embarrassed. So they just decide not to come back to church. I don't want you to do that. So could anybody that's in ministry, can you stand right now? Practitioners, teachers, reverends, chaplains, anybody, could you just stand right now? Take a look around. All of these people that are standing understand the law of increase. They understand why it's important to be a cheerful giver. If life circumstances change, contact them. Let them know the truth with you. Let them help you back to a cheerful place of giving so that you can prove the law again. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay. Now the key tip for activating this power is cheerfulness, consistency, and remembering that you also have to be a gracious receiver. This was my biggest lesson because I love to give. I love to give. I live to give. I love it. But I was not the greatest receiver. And if you crimp that hose of circulation, it doesn't activate the law of increase. So you have to be a gracious receiver. You know, Catherine Ponder, you all know her, right? Okay, she said that the law of increase requires you not only to give, but to expect to receive. You can have an expectation of receiving, and you have to be a gracious receiver. So I want all of you to practice this right now. Look straight out, tilt your head slightly up, and repeat after me. Thank you. Thank you. When somebody offers you something, when somebody wants to pick up the bill, when somebody wants to do something so that they can activate their law of increase, you need to be a gracious receiver. Thank you. That's what you need to say. And I know for some of you, this is hitting home. This is hard for you, but you've got to do it to keep the law of increase and circulation going. So to learn more about this Jumpstarting Your Good, we're going to have a workshop this afternoon. It's so much fun. Everybody gets a 30-page workbook. It's interactive, and it's a great time. And can learn a little bit more about taking on that CSO as your partner as well. So in closing, what I'd love for us to do is to take a look at the handout that you have. And at the bottom, there's a prayer. And I want us to read this together, but in advance of that, think of at least one thing that you want to have more of in your life. Does everybody have that in mind? Know that you can activate the law of increase by giving it first. So let's read this together. I am grateful that God is the only source of my supply. I cheerfully give today to activate and reinforce my understanding of the law of increase as giving and receiving. I have faith that God now directs me to receive all that is mine by divine right and to afford all of my giving, living, and entertainment expenses and more. I take action as God directs, and I show appreciation for my source by giving a minimum of 10% of what I receive each week. I now release these words and know that it is done, and so it is. Amen. May you be blessed. May you be prospered. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be appreciated and loved. And as Emma Curtis Hopkins said, there is a good for you and you ought to have it. And I would add that you should have it now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, May. And as the ushers come forward, this is our chance to open our hearts and to really practice that feeling of circulation. And thank you so much for that message of generosity and of trust. And I love what May said, that you can't outgive God. So if all of you, remember that we have our Faith in Action pledges and, start thinking about that. And as our ushers go around, we will have our song. Thank you.
I was trying to get your attention for the denial.
As we
As we all know, Tuesday is a big day. And I, for one, am very grateful that I have the opportunity to be a part of this great democracy and celebrate the power of our choices, right? As a kind of a prayer, I'm going to do something different than I did the first service, and then express our gratitude with my gratitude song. It's, oh, beautiful for spacious skies and of our amber waves of grain. The mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good on humanhood from sea to shining sea. I am grateful for the skies up above. I am grateful for the miracle of love. And I jokingly say, for those who were born in the Jewish tradition like I was, you can say, and when things fall apart. But if you weren't born like me and my mother, who's in the audience at 95 years old, who I'm grateful for. And if things fall apart and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. You can learn that with me. You all look so beautiful right now. God, just, you should see what I'm looking at right now. I am grateful for the skies up above. I am grateful for the miracle of love. And if things fall apart, and if things fall apart, and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. Now the secret to singing is to feel the gratitude while you're singing it, not just go through the lip service. So feel something right now that you're grateful for. I want to say that I'm grateful for the fact that my almost 95-year-old mother is sitting in that audience, and she's right here. Thank you, Mom, for giving me piano lessons at 5 years old. Thank you, Mom. I am grateful for the sky. What do you want to say something, Mom? This.
Eat a lot of ice cream and candy when you're in your 80s.
For the skies up above, and I'm grateful for the miracle. Come on, stand up and take hands and let's feel the gratitude. And if things fall apart and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. I am grateful. You can clap. Oh, the skies up above. I am grateful, can't clap and hold, for the miracle of love. And if things fall apart and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. Sitting on the porch thinking about my problems, wondering what to do, oy vey. Bills and pains, bills and pains, aches and pains, broken hearts, sleepless nights. But a ray of light shone through the clouds as if to say, this is a brand new day. Sing that line with me. A brand new day. Oh, I am grateful for the skies up above. I am grateful for the miracle of love. And if things fall apart going to step into this incredible ministry role coming up as if it's already done, right, May? What are you grateful for? Anything else? Call it out, Tiffany. I'm grateful for my mom and my daughter. I'm grateful for this phenomenal community you're in. I'm grateful just to be alive.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. And as we bring up our offerings, Gary, thank you for that beginning of a reminder of the great country we live in. And off record, remember to vote. It's this Tuesday. And as we all raise our hands, we put into practice what May was talking about, the law of increase. And we say together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. All right. Well, as we come closing out our service, we go to our Serve Core commitment. And if I can just take 30 seconds, I know we've had a full service today. I want to, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, thank the enormous amount of service that goes on here. There's a man who comes here Sunday after Sunday to put food and drinks for you in the courtyard, and we should thank him. Don't clap too much. I got to be fast here. And there's a woman who sits in the front here and makes sure like my clothes aren't all wrinkled and choreographs this service and does this with grace and generosity. And we thank her. And there's a woman here with multiple PhDs who's been helping the Montessori get going, have the music going, and she does it with such generosity and doesn't ask anything, and we have to thank her. And then we have to thank there's someone here who's worked with the likes of Steve Jobs and the Lucas and Pixar people, and she's on the board and keeps bringing her talent, keeps making this community thrive, and I think we have to thank her. And just everybody who's here, the search team, every one of you who come, every one of you who brings some piece to this mosaic, we have to thank you. And we are the Serve commitment. We don't just say it, we do it every week. So let's say that together. We serve spirit, community, and each other. Love, joy, and a sense of adventure. And one way to serve is to be a prayer chaplain. I did it for 8 years. It's really a great opportunity to be a part of a group that is so open-hearted that you'll go deeper, a practice that's so lovely that you'll pray deeper. And so if you want more information, go out to the hub. I think the meeting was ongoing, but they already happened, but they do always have the need for more people to join. And it's really a lovely chance to see the foundation of prayer in this community. Also, we have a writer workshop. It's going on every Tuesday. Sue Summers, herself a teacher for 16 years. And really, writing and storytelling is a way to find the self, to express it and share it with the world. So really another great opportunity. And then, Charcel, are you here? Yeah. Our embodied sense of adventure is decking the halls. As we know, Christmas is a bit of a way after the Thanksgiving holidays, but still, we're thinking ahead. This place gets so festive, so joyous. So come join Charcel, and we'll have a big tree and lots of great stuff. And lastly, do visit the bookstore. We have Christine Morgan there every week, and it's just a great resource for growth, for taking the word and meeting action and practice. And May's 2 wonderful books here, The Path to Wealth and also The Gratitude Formula, will be there, and she'll be signing the book. So she's actually not going to go to the line, and she'll make herself available to you. So if you just want to say hi and just see her face to face and get a signature, please go. And again, in her expression of the law of increase, she's come here to help us also, to give us this message and to take some of these proceeds and give them to the church so we can really ramp up and grow. So May, thank you for that. And we really look forward to seeing you here again, and thanks for what you brought here today. And if you're interested in being a sponsor, flower hospitality sponsor, that's always great. Today we have Richard Gordon, who's celebrating his 36th anniversary with Medora, which is why I'm playing Mini-Me in her role, is out celebrating and provided the flowers, which are always so lovely. And Kimberly called the hospitality, so we thank them. And anytime one of you want to sponsor, it's a great way to also commemorate something special in your life and to share. Will the prayer chaplains please rise? So as I mentioned, there was an orientation. These wonderful people have opened their hearts. They dedicate an enormous amount of time, and they're here to be listeners. They're here to be support. They're here to be those connectors to Spirit. So for your service, chaplains, we thank you so much. And the rest of you, would you please rise as you're able? So as we close our service, let's say our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And as you remember, we said 54 years ago, you enter prayerfully, you leave joyfully. Let's leave in joy as we sing our peace song.